Are you enjoying the new season? Hello, everyone. In this video, I tried exploring the potential of the Javelin rune. Javelin infantry are somehow classified as melee units, but except for a few specific ones, most of them are actually like ranged units that throw spears from the backline. Moreover, their ammo capacity is poor, making them unsuitable for prolonged battles, so almost no one uses them except for javelin enthusiasts and inexperienced players. This time, since the developers specifically created a new rune to promote them, I decided to give it a try. I just want to say this to avoid any misunderstandings. Beginners and inexperienced players should not use javelin infantry because they are weak. If you want to fulfill a ranged role, I recommend using gunners or archers. If you want close combat, I recommend shield infantry or special melee units. Now, you might be wondering, then where should I use javelins? They are effective against objectives and enemy heroes. However, enemy heroes are often positioned behind their units, so the chances to get hero kills are very limited. In other words, this is not a unit that can be effectively used by unskilled players who just wait behind their allies. It looks like the developers want to improve the current situation of these units. They seem to be trying to establish them as a ranged unit that has poor ammo capacity but can break blocks. So, I will carefully select from range-type javelin units and test different setups. Javelin infantry in general can only be effective around supply points due to their ammo limitations. Technically, there are ammo supply units, but nobody picks them. Because of this, choosing javelin units is highly dependent on the map. However, this javelin unit is cavalry, meaning it can still manage resupply even if the supply point is slightly far from the battle area. Personally, I think outriders are better for breaking blocks and dealing damage, as long as they can land enough hits. That being said, as a unit, they aren't strong overall. This unit has two main skills. First one is Burning Plains. Throws an explosive javelin that detonates after 2 seconds, causing knockback. Significantly reduces block values compared to normal attacks. After using this skill, for the next 12 seconds, normal attack intervals are greatly shortened. Second one is Ride Like the Wind. After throwing an explosive javelin, the unit runs around enemies, gaining defense for a few seconds while continuing slash attacks. Personally, I think attacking in close range is only effective against weaker enemies, so I usually cancel the skill right after the first attack. Here is the veterancy and doctrines I used. But wait, didn't the rune description say that it only applies to infantry? I don't know if it's a mistranslation, but the Japanese text does not mention this restriction. So, I decided to check whether it applies to cavalry. By the way, in Chinese, the description does say infantry only. How would you translate situations like this? I personally recommend the AI tool Gemini. Just drag and drop the saved screenshot into the prompt, and it will handle everything. This is what my translated result looks like. This time, I translated it into English, but if you specify another language, it will automatically do it for you. I put the AI tool link in the video description. For now, since we can't move forward without confirming whether the rune applies to cavalry, I will test it. Game descriptions are often inaccurate, and their effects often differ from how they actually work in-game. So, I'll use a similar trait from doctrines to verify whether the effect is truly infantry only. Did you notice something? I realized this while making this video. Doctrine effects have no unit type restrictions. However, the rune effect applies only against enemy units. For now, I will verify two things. The rune does not affect heroes. The rune does not apply to cavalry. Since the block reduction amount is the same, the rune has no effect against heroes. Since the number of hits required to break armor is almost the same, the rune does not apply to Javelin cavalry. With that in mind, the units that synergize best with this rune seem to be Javelin units capable of breaking blocks and then following up with consecutive Javelin throws, such as Javelin Sergeants, Imperial Javeliners, and Laconic Javelins. However, since there are many fights against non-shielded units, and you also need enough damage to secure kills, there is no real reason to stick to this rune. I might create a review video of these compatible Javelin units if I feel like it. I'll leave you with a scene testing the block break value. See you later.